Hey, Pretentious Engineer here. I know you didn't ask, but I'm so excited to welcome you to the Big Brain 10-Day Risk Challenge. And my hope is that over the course of this challenge, you're going to find a greater sense of confidence to take strategic risks in your own entrepreneurial ventures. Now, I believe the biggest killer of new entrepreneurs is their inability to move forward amidst uncertainty or to take risks. So, if you want to build the life you desire, living where you want, loving what you do, and being paid well for it, then you need to get better at taking risks. And my entire journey is a product of radical, crazy, life shaking risks. And to just bring you into that story in less than like 45 seconds, I worked at Johnson& Johnson for over a decade, progressing robotic surgical technologies. And this led my family on this crazy adventure of 12 relocations in 1 year to get to Japan. And during that time in Japan, my job was impacted. And while I was offered a role back in the US, we took this crazy jump into all in entrepreneurship to continue life in Japan with our 4 children. We started a business and we failed at it. We hit zero when our revenue did not exceed our burn rate. And we did this crazy relocation from Tokyo back to Chicago to reset as a family. Across all of that, I have learned so much about taking action, even if you don't have a guarantee on what that outcome could be. But it's essential to get strong in that skill set in order to progress your ventures so you can eventually progress out of that 9 to 5. So I'm really excited for this challenge. I want to let you know a bit about how it's going to work because my goal is to give you the most valuable email you get every day for the next 10 days. And I have literally put hundreds of hours into this sequence for you just based on learnings. I recorded my entire journey as newsletters over the last year of All in Entrepreneurship, both in Japan and in Chicago. And I pulled the greatest hits or the most valuable lessons for you over the next 10 days. So each day you'll get one email. So make sure you check your spam so it doesn't get caught there. And in that email, the top will have a really quick video intro, probably less than 2 minutes, that I just provide context as to that point in time when I was writing that email and what it could do for you, what that reflection is. Then there's going to be that daily reflection you can actually work through of me journaling through my entrepreneurial journey. And then at the bottom, there's something special. This is going to be a bonus for the How to Say Goodbye series. So I pulled together 9 modules on how to actually quit your job because there's a probability that a good portion of you are stuck in a job that's underpaying you, it's not serving you, and you're just continuing to stay in the status quo instead of taking that jump either into a better job in a different industry or into entrepreneurship. And the hope is that over the course of this 10 days, in addition to working through those reflections, which I think will help you take greater risks, I also want to provide you a framework to be able to quit your job at the end of 10 days, if that makes sense for you. So I encourage you to at minimum work through the reflection in the intro video. But if you're in a season of life where you also are needing to learn how to say goodbye, that video at the bottom is going to be great. And they start pretty short at about 15 minutes and they get deeper in content over the course of the series. So let's talk about how we're actually going to cram 1 year of all in entrepreneurship learnings into 10 days. So here are the modules. Number one, zero. What did he do? I'm parenting in parallel to this. Just, yeah, scooch away from him. You're fine. He's trying to make a go at her Cheez-Its. So the first module is going to be zero. And this is a heavy hitter one. This is right in the middle of my journey from when I exited J&J in Japan to right when we had got to the US. I ran into a lot of financial issues. And I walk through how to navigate what's called the Valley of Despair. And I share 4 key learnings I learned from hitting zero in Tokyo with 4 kids, which is a privilege few people have of starting a business in a foreign country while raising children and failing at it. So let me get those learnings of pain for you so you have greater confidence taking risks. The next module or the next newsletter you'll get is called Fear. And this is where things start to move in sequence. So this is the very first newsletter I wrote right when I quit J&J. And I share how to navigate risks leveraging a tool common in engineering called an FMEA, which is a failure modes effects analysis. It allows you to look at the potential probability of bad things happening, the severity of those things happening, and how you triage it or mitigate it. And we could leverage this in our entrepreneurial ventures consistently so that we can navigate risks with a greater sense of confidence and kind of a methodical approach. So I hope you enjoy that one. The third one that'll be coming on day 3 is called Spark. And this is literally like days before calamity. We reached a point of saying it's not working right after I wrote this. And I so desperately wanted my first entrepreneurial venture to work. I wanted life in Japan to work. I wanted to have that victory story. And the reality is, I didn't. So, this is a really sobering read, and it just helps you navigate a reality of how entrepreneurship is. It's not for the faint of heart, it's challenging, but there's fruit on the back end of it. And that's why there's 10 days instead of 3. Because if I left you on this one, you'd be like, well, I don't want to do this. Number 4 is going to be bail. So this is literally a story of how my wife saved us. How we reached the decision of we need to bail, we need to transition out of this first venture. It's below zero. It's not going to work for us here. And how do we regroup and move as a family internationally on our own dime without the support of Johnson & Johnson, which had originally moved us to Japan? So lots of risks are navigated here, lots of transparency in the decisions we made. And hopefully this is, again, an encouragement for you to take risks that are at your level as opposed to the level we were navigating, which was crazy mode. Number 5 is here. And this is actually one of my favorite newsletters I wrote. This is right after Halloween, and we were finding new life in Chicago. We were finding purpose in the pivot. This is when I started to learn how to care for my grandfather who's battling kidney failure and started to find these moments of delight living in Chicago and a reset. We had also pulled all of our 401k savings leading into this one. So we had a little bit of a cushion to kind of reset and regroup as a family. So there's an uplift, which was really necessary before we got into more challenges in Chicago entrepreneurship. All right, number 6. And by the way, if you're like, oh, this feels like a lot, it's going to take you some time to work through it. But if you want to get better at navigating risks, you have to put in the work. And what's great about this series, you can flag these in a folder in your email. You could always go back to them. My hope is that it's deeply valuable because we are compressing a year of entrepreneurial learnings into 10 emails that you can read in 6 minutes a day and videos you can watch over the course of 10 to 40 minutes per day, depending on which module you're on. All right, so the next one is forward. Oh, this is such a good one. So this is about taking action amidst risk. And it has a beautiful insight from a mentor over my life who just continued to encourage me to keep moving forward, even if I couldn't see where that next foot was going to land, to keep trying, to keep like leaning into the uncertainty as opposed to backing away from it and going back to what life was. The only path was forward. And this is a really helpful mindset for me to lock into as we reset our entrepreneurial ventures in Chicago for our second and third round. Okay, number 7. This one's just great knowledge for any entrepreneur. It's this idea of rabbit, which is finding critical path. So basically, in entrepreneurship, there's going to be lots of shiny rocks or lots of rabbits you can chase. And if you try to chase 2 rabbits, you catch none of them. So it's really hard to figure out what your critical path is and how to only focus on that, because there'll be all these other risks that you have to continue to let burn. For instance, I have not filed 2024 taxes. I'm delinquent on that because I've put time into other things. There are certain risks I have allowed to progress because the severity is not so high compared to the risk of inaction in other spaces of the business. This is something, again, I want to help you become more confident with, not necessarily more comfortable, because taking risks is almost always uncomfortable. Okay, so that's rabbit. Number 8 of this journey is outlast. And I hope all this context is helpful for you. I want this to be incredibly valuable for you. I want you to look forward to this journey. And I'm excited for you to hopefully be part of our community on Skool, which is free as well, because it'll allow you to interconnect with others and collaborate around this journey and take risks together. So the next one is called Outlast. which is all about increasing the time horizon of success. There's this beautiful moment in around March, April of 2025 when I'd reset my business, my community business on Skool, and started to see people ascending into my paid offer where I recognized, oh my gosh, if I just continue to lock in on doing the right things consistently amidst risks and not fully knowing the outcome, if I just increase that time horizon of success, this will work. I just have to stay in the game while others fall out. I have to outlast. And this is going to be really helpful for you to really, again, increase that timeline of success, that time horizon of success. Because when we get short sighted, the risks feel huge, they paralyze us, and we quit and we back out to the life we had. All right, number 9, going deeper on it. Wait. Overcoming risk paralysis. I'm not going to unpack this one for you. I'm going to leave a little bit of mystery in this. But there's a lot of areas where we can feel stuck when we're facing uncertainty and we don't know how to optimize action amidst waiting for certain things to come. So this one's really valuable, but it won't make any sense till you work through the ones before it. And then the last one where I'll leave you with is stones. And this is how to build with intention. Because every time we face a risk and choose to still move forward, we're laying a stone in that foundation of the life we want to build, living where we want, loving what we do, being paid well for it. And there's a lot of great working methodologies I share in the 10th module to help you do that. So I'm super excited about this. I hope you get a ton of value from it. Again, not everybody needs to quit their job, but I'm hoping that a lot of you do if it's a fit for you from the how to say goodbye journey that I'll layer on to the bottom of this. And it has been such a crazy, wild, challenging ride, raising 4 kids, moving between countries, and still doing entrepreneurship in parallel to day job. And I really want to believe that these stories I've captured over the course of a year will unlock something in your life so that you can move forward and truly build that life. So feel free to look forward to the next email that will come. That will be your day 1. You'll get 10, one every day. Prioritize it. Maybe set aside 30 minutes, 15 minutes on your calendar to think and reflect and act from what happens here. Like make time for it. Because if you don't make time for it now, you're not going to make time for it later. And if you're not part of the community on Skool, I'll share a link to that. Check it out, and you're more than welcome to connect there as well. I have a really simple onboarding process that can get you plugged in and have a sense of belonging. And right now we have 150 big brains there, whether you're left brain, which is our global leaders and engineers, the right brain is the community builders and creatives, then the whole brains are parents and entrepreneurs. So anyway, I appreciate you. Keep changing the world, and you can sip on that.